I want to start by asking y'all, when y'all first read the script, what were your thoughts on it?
So when I first read the script, I just couldn't believe how much is packed in one season. And I found myself fairly impressed by myself because I couldn't put it down. It was 8 episodes of around 35 pages roughly each. So that was a lot of reading, and I found that I was able to do it in one go. I didn't realize the time that went by. So I believe that's a sign that what you were reading was invested you completely.
Yeah.
So, and then a lot was packed in the script. At the same time, there was a curiosity of this character as to how, if I even imagine myself playing, how would I ever do it? Because it required a certain kind of innocence and a certain kind of naivety, which I felt like would be interesting for me to crack.
What about you, Shweta?
Sumit is one of my favorite writers. So when I got this script, that time I didn't know that I'm going to play Parul. Even I think Sumit didn't know that we'll have this conversation. So when I read it as an audience, which is great because otherwise you are reading knowing that you're playing this part. So I went through every character's journey. I judged the characters. I judged myself for judging the characters. And I was with every character. So what happens is that a good script is when justice is done to everyone who's present over there.
Right.
And there, one of my favorite scenes is when in the jo trailer mein bhi hai, where they are discussing about crime against women, and they say कि कई बार डर की वजह से लड़कियां बोल नहीं पाती हैं. And वो जो इंस्पेक्टर कॉप हैं वो कहते हैं कि नहीं वो बोल डर की वजह से नहीं, उसके ना होठ चिपके हुए थे. And सब हंसते हैं because the thing is they are dealing with this on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So humor like that, and the thing is even you will laugh. And you laugh and then you'll be like, why am I laughing? Because this is something which is so wrong, where you shouldn't be laughing. So that was my reaction. And when Sumit asked me that, do you want to play Parul? And I was like, wow, because the Parul ka description tha, that was not, I didn't think that maybe I could play this. So I just knew that I have to be a part of this story because it's an important story to be told.
Right. Vijay, you've been playing, like in your recent work, you've been playing a lot of grey characters of the antagonist as such, and here you're playing the role of a good cop. So, what made you take on this role?
I think I needed a break from those a bit.
Yeah.
And at the same time, just the novelty of this character and the originality of the story drew me. We've seen police officers who know it all, who are super cops, who know how to get things done, who are tough, who can handle things and going through troubles in life. We've seen various kinds of police officer, but there's a police officer here. He just joined the force, 2 months into the job, and he wants to resign. So he starts there. He starts with somebody who just put the papers down, and from there, how do we get this boy to do anything in the police department?
Yeah.
And he's facing bullying, and he's not able to understand how to be a man in the system. So it's a very interesting character, and I felt like I would like to bite onto this on this incredible. So I was drawn to the writing primarily, and I felt like if I can do the unlearning, and then I would probably find something there to play with.
Shweta, what about you? What drew you so much to the character that you're playing?
Definitely the writing, the character, and that if what is and who is a good girl? Does a good girl not drink? Does she smoke? Does she talk to only one boy? If she talks to multiple boys at the same time, does she deserve this? So all these questions which will make you feel something. For me, that is the most important, that when my audience is watching this, is there any spark of anything? Because entertainment is very important. But वो entertainment के साथ वो जो capsule होती है ना, उसमें हम अगर कोई दवा भर के भी दे दे, जो while you're watching it, not change you as a person, that's expecting too much, but at least put that thought, put that seed in your head where you start conversations. Now, thankfully, because of Kaalkoot, we are talking about these topics that need to be spoken about. And I think even like, for example, social media. One big thing is that now people they're being able to express themselves better. Obviously, there are pros and cons to everything. But I'm hoping that people who feel exactly like this poster, they will fight all of that and emerge out well.
You play the role of an acid attack victim, so it must have been really challenging.
So before reading it, after reading it, and isse pehle, I always used to call them acid attack victims. And when I met them, and they call themselves acid attack survivors.
Okay.
So now I've made a mental note that because they are survivors, and not just because they've survived that day, they are surviving every day. Because how we make them feel. Because that it's it's in the look. You don't even need to say anything. So I think that for me also, because the concept of beauty, that really annoys and bothers me, because I think वो commercial और पैसे के चक्कर में ना हमने वो बहुत ज़्यादा बेच दिया है. We are looking for validation only from the outside. जबकि outside से no matter what anybody says to you, till the time you don't feel that from the inside, there is nothing that can help you or save you. So beauty literally, and we've heard this, that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, or it is what you feel. It is true. So I think Parul was stunning before the incident happened, and after the incident happened, I think she's even more beautiful.
Like I said, like we were talking about it being really challenging. So how did you actually prep for it?
I met a lot of survivors, and मेरी हालत खस्ता हो गई थी उनसे मिलके, because they were laughing and enjoying and living their life, and I was just like, we take so many things for granted on an everyday basis, and look at them, they are literally the heroes, and they love makeup. हमारा ना perception एक हो जाता है कि ऐसा कोई type का person होगा जिसके साथ ये हुआ होगा, so that person is like that. No, redefine yourself, redefine your boundaries, and whatever it is, whatever you have, make the most of it. So I spoke to a lot of them. I saw documentaries, research. Even Sumit and his team, they had spoken to a lot of people. They had a lot of videos and interviews, and it was tough. It was very tough.
What are the other prevalent issues that the film has touched upon, that happen in Indian society? Could you just, maybe elaborate on that a bit?
It touches down. Apart from being a cop procedural investigation drama, it explores the theme of grief, personal loss, losing a parent, for interpersonal dynamics between family, and it also touches on thematically. There is a very strong thread of a coming of age of this boy who is actually a police officer. So it's not. And a lot of biases against what an ideal man is, and what is the role of an ideal man, and who is an ideal man. Are you man enough if you don't have the qualities of these, or these traits of so-called being a man? So that comes into a lot of questioning, and we studied that for a bit in this show.
How important do you think is it to have a character like Ravi on screen in today's day and age?
I think we've had enough representation and presentation of alpha males and on screen, and here is a very interesting guy who is not competitive, who is not violent, aggressive, and so many other things, traits given for a very alpha male behavior. Probably a beta male, and it's to put a beta male officer in an alpha setup would be a very interesting take on how a system works right now.
The subject itself is so intense and sensitive at the same time. Like you said, the audience, when we watch such shows, it does have that impact on you. There are certain scenes which are just sometimes really too intense to watch, but I think as actors, you're playing that part, you're actually enacting it. So does it get really heavy for y'all sometime? And how do y'all deal with all of that?
I remember before the show, because his part, Ravi's part, is brilliant and he's done an amazing job. I remember I messaged him to just check that, are you okay? Because it's very tough. Like,
Yeah.
you know, कई बार लोगों को एक्टर बनना होता है क्योंकि ग्लैमर या कपड़े या फैंस और ये सब होता है, बट जिस टाइप के कैरेक्टर विजय does, they literally consume you.
Yeah.
So hats off because it was not, मतलब literally मुझे ये हो रहा था कि is he all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I go through the intense scenes. I enjoy them actually because what happens is, you know, we all are actually wanting to feel. Innately, we all want to feel, and days we feel like we are not feeling enough. We feel dead inside, and we all inherently want to feel warm, love, anger, jealousy. We want to experience all the time. That's a sign that you're alive. So for actors, you know, if you can find those truth, you know, it's a blessing if you can do that. So I find it as a blessing if I can feel something in the scene, and I like intensity. And often I find that the troubles that I'm going through in my personal life, and I have a moment on screen where I'm breaking down, it helps my personal life in a very strange way, you know. So, or express my anger in a certain way on screen, it just releases something. And of course I'm very apologetic, and of course I'll do what I'm supposed to do to the crew and cast around me and anybody who must be affected by it. But I don't shy away from it. I actually wait for it.
That is so true. In fact, so जब हमारी dubbing हो रही थी कालकूट के लिए, so they told me that we have to dub for that moment when the acid is thrown at Parul. And I was like, don't make me go through that again, because it's obviously not it's anything
not
but
pleasant.
yeah. So, but during the dub, when I did that, it's just what he said, that it just released so much that in a way it's like therapy.
Oh, wow.
Because all these repressed emotions which you might have for all different reasons, but it's a release. And as actors, if we can feel that, then it's a blessing.
Don't you sometimes feel like you get so engrossed in that particular character that you need to dissociate or detach yourself from it? So then how do you then...
I meet my mom, my mother. You become you become the child all over again, and your old friends and stuff like that. I mean, I considered other options also, whether I should go for a spiritual trip and should I do Vipassana to get rid of the serial killer that I have inside me. It's not like this is true, but I just feel like you just need to be participating in life outside of work. And the moment you isolate is when these things take over. I've been on both sides. I've had characters which I didn't leave for a bit, and then I found out the solution. It works brilliantly.